A new aircraft has been chosen to replace Air Force One. The fleet of Air Force One, Boeing confirmed it will develop a 747-8 for the presidential fleet. CBS News aviation expert and former director of the White House Military Office, Mark Rosenker, joins us now from Washington. And Mark, for those of us who fly, always exciting to hear about things like this. Tell us, first of all, a little bit about the 747-8.
Well, this is a great new aircraft. It's been welcomed into the commercial fleet. And frankly, it was either going between the 787 or this new 747. That was the choice that the Air Force and the White House had to make. They made a great decision, I think.
So what kind of things, Mark, do you anticipate they might be putting or they might be changing for this new plane?
Well, we had to make a lot of improvements and modifications after September 11th. I was on board Air Force One at that time, and it was extremely frustrating for the president. We were dealing in older technology. We didn't even have satellite capability for television on board, so we had tremendous difficulties in really seeing and trying to understand visually what was happening on the ground. It was difficult for the president to make telephone calls. We kept losing them. The plane had never been stressed like this in real time, given the kind of situation we were involved in under September 11th. After we got onto the ground, we made significant improvements. We've gotten more communications capability on board. We got to satellite television on board the aircraft. We even had the ability now to do a broadband. It did not happen back prior to September 11th. Those are the kinds of things that are taking them to the next level for this new aircraft.
Pretty hard to believe you couldn't watch TV on the plane only 13 or 14 years ago. Mark, how many jets in the fleet, by the way, the Air Force One fleet?
Well, there are two actual aircraft that are assigned directly to the president. Air Force One, technically, is a radio call, only being used when the president is on board, just like Marine One, or if he got onto something like a naval aircraft. Remember when President Bush went off to the aircraft carrier and landed? That was Navy One when he was on board. So it's only the call sign to recognize that the president is on board. When it is not on board, they use that Air Force, in this particular case, 28000, Air Force 29000. Those are the tail numbers.
Mark, can we talk about Marine One, by the way, because I know there's a lot of folks who feel like that's due for a change as well.
It is absolutely due for a change, Jeff. I was there when, in fact, we started the actual re-examination of the current fleet. It's old, it's maintained extremely well, but it can't do what it needs to do to support the President of the United States in the 21st century.
It's a sensitive topic, but I mean, is it dangerous? Does it become too dangerous to fly?
No, it's safe. The best maintainers in the world are operating both Marine One and Air Force One. These guys are the best in the business. The problem is the technology is not there in the current helicopter. There are helicopters that are capable of doing significantly more, making longer lift with longer legs. These are the kinds of things that we have to be using for the presidency of the 21st century.
And Mark, do we have any idea when the new Air Force One fleet might be in service? What's the turnaround time for something like this?
Well, unfortunately, Jeff, they do take a bit of time to design and build. Remember, this isn't a typical 747. Even though we're building it from the ground up and using that basic airframe, there are lots of modifications that go into this aircraft for safety, security, and operations.
So we're talking about years down
We're
the
talking
line.
about years. It wouldn't surprise me 3 or 4 years. The next president will be the recipient of this new contract.
Very good. Mark Rosenker. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you, Jeff.